Welcome back. The Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department has launched an investigation into a video doing the rounds on social media. It shows an officer restraining a woman while another person, supposedly a nurse, draws blood from her. The incident apparently took place at the Douglasdale police station. It's thought that the woman may have failed a breathalyzer test and been taken to a station for blood to be taken for testing. Now, JMPD spokesperson Wayne Minard joins me now for this conversation. But before we actually have our conversation, Mr. Minard, I wanted to take a look at that video so that we can bring our audiences into context of this conversation. Let's have a look.
I can't believe what they're doing.
Now, apart from the screaming and whatever it is that is happening there and the sound effects, was the JMPD acting within their legal rights to actually have her restrained, number one, and have somebody take her blood sample, even though this image that we're seeing now is somebody who is clearly not happy with that situation, to say the least?
Yes, well, look, if one gets arrested for drunken driving, you must be expected to do a breathalyzer test, and you must be expected to give a blood sample, because that is procedure. And the JMPD follows the procedure when a drunken driver arrest takes place. There is an investigation surrounding the circumstances because of what may have happened prior to when the blood was being drawn. But Sections 37 of the Criminal Procedure Act makes provision for the individual to be restrained when a blood sample is taken.
So when it comes to this specific case in itself, and I think that also for those that have been tempted to drive under the influence of alcohol, do you know sort of from the team, and do you know from those that were stationed on that day exactly what transpired for her, number one, to get to Douglasdale police station, number two, when she was apprehended by law enforcement, exactly what led to this video and to the images that we've just seen?
Well, look, you see, that will be investigated, but standard procedure is that when you get stopped on the side of the road and you're suspected of having consumed alcohol, like for an example, having bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, a breath on alcohol, unsteady on one's feet, and then the officer can do a breathalyzer test on the side of the road just to see what the reading is, and then thereafter arrest the person. From there they go to a police station where the case is opened, and from the police station to have a blood sample drawn. Or they could go to a alcohol evidence center where there's an evidential breathalyzer for a breathalyzer reading, which then the printout is attached to the docket for evidence in court. So the circumstances varies from every case.
But then let's talk a little bit about the nurse, because, you know, some reports are saying it's someone pretending to be, so one statement was saying someone pretending to be a nurse, others saying purported to be a nurse. So was there a nurse, or do you know currently, because we see it on the video, right, which is a complete different thing where what the investigation would tell, but was there an actual nurse on site? There we go. Let's just take a look at this. Was there an actual nurse on site, as you would know, from the police station? And under these circumstances, because this is not a unique case. This just happens to be a case that was taken on video.
On video.
That's it, right? So it's not a unique case.
It's not unique in the sense that we do find people who do resist from time to time. But I can tell you that we only use registered nurses for the drawing of blood, because that's a standard requirement in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act. You cannot just ask anyone to draw blood of a person who's been arrested for drunken driving. And then when there are different circumstances, also like in this particular case, the nursing sister was at the police station. There are other...
Are you confirming that, in fact, it was a nursing sister that was at the police station?
Yes,
This is a qualified nursing sister that was at the police station at the time that the blood was being drawn?
Absolutely. And we may take the person to an evidential center where we have the nurses on duty, mostly over weekends, on Fridays and Saturday nights, particularly late at Saturday nights, or the person may be taken to a district surgeon for a blood sample to be taken. But when you get stopped for drunken driving, there's two procedures that you need to follow, and that is to do a breathalyzer test and to have a blood sample drawn.
Yeah. I mean, I want us to talk a little bit about also these 13 JMPD superintendents that were, suspending pending, obviously, this internal investigation for having closed the gates of the JMPD operational office in Johannesburg. Apparently, people were not able to pay traffic fines, renew licenses. They weren't even allowed to release impounded vehicles. What's happening there?
Yes, no, look, those superintendents have been suspended today because of closing the gates on the 28th of February, which top management considers to be a serious misconduct, because as the public were not able to render or do what they needed to do, like, for example, take out impounded vehicles or get accident reports or pay fines or renew driving licenses, discs. So unfortunately, the suspension was done today, and there are inspectors, senior inspectors, which have been already assigned to perform the duties of the superintendents.
Why did they decide to take this route? Were they just deciding to protest? And if they were protesting, what were they protesting against? And was it illegal for them to actually have this protest? Because they have subsequently been suspended. So what exactly do they want?
Well, look, that needs to form part of the investigation. And the
so you do not know, did they actually say exactly what they want, that we are shutting down these JMPD operational officers because we have not been paid in 6 months, or because this is what we want? What do you know from it? Because people do not wake up one day, I'm sure you would appreciate this, Wayne, and decide, you know what we're going to do today, because it's Monday, we're going to close down the JMPD operational officers. It just doesn't happen like that. So
absolutely.
Why is it, what was communicated from them?
Yes, look, there are a number of reasons for the closing of the gates. And one of it was that the wanting of vehicles or transport allowance for the performing of duty. So the complaints will be investigated, the case itself will be investigated thoroughly, and these superintendents will be suspended, because on that particular day the services of the general public was affected because of the closing of the gates of the Metro Police Department. The public couldn't go in to make arrangement for funeral escort. They could not renew their license discs and pay fines, so the services of the public was affected.
Absolutely. I take nothing away from the fact that the services of the public were not affected and they were not implemented on that day. However, it would be one thing for, the JMPD officers to be actually saying that we're suspending these individuals. Meanwhile, they actually have something credible, and the complaint is actually credible. In that case, then that will put the JMPD, the very same one, into really bad light, and that will be a terrible PR exercise to have to go back on it, wouldn't it?
Oh, well, look, we will release the outcome of the investigation when it's done, and then we will make it known and announce it publicly.
Thanks so very much, Superintendent, for joining us this evening, shedding some light in terms of that video. You saw it. It is that video that went viral, that has been trending on social media, of an individual who was apprehended and taken to a Douglasdale police station for refusing to actually take a breathalyzer.